How do you invest $10,000 so that it will actually make a significant impact in your life? Well, I was able to go from broke to saving my first $10,000 to eventually investing that, and then a couple years ago being able to leave my day job. $10,000 is a lot of money, and how much you make with especially your first $10,000 will determine a lot about the rest of your financial life. If you invest $10,000 earning 8% for the next 30 years, that 10 grand will turn into over 100,000. And some of these ways to invest can earn you way more than 8% return and take a lot less than 30 years. Because I'm not gonna lie, that's a long time. Before we get into some of the more fun wealth building tools, especially the last couple can make you a lot of money. If you do not have an emergency fund, you should not be investing. I know a lot of people who don't really have an emergency fund, yet they're investing a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s into random things. And with the average cost of an emergency being like $1,400, and also who knows when the next pandemic's gonna roll around and things are just gonna crash unexpectedly, you need to be prepared. So if you're not prepared yet, if you don't have an emergency fund, that can end up crippling you financially when just one little thing goes wrong. So before you do any of these other steps, make sure you have an emergency fund of at least 1 month. I go for 3 to 6 months before I start doing anything else, because the peace of mind that gives you is like worth more than anything. And that leads into the next way to invest it, which is into paying off debt. But you don't have to pay off all of your debt before you can start investing. However, a lot of people do the same thing that they do with the emergency fund, where they're investing a couple hundred or a couple $1,000 instead of paying off some high interest debt. So while they might be earning, 7 or 8 or 10% in the stock market, they're also losing 7, 8, 10, 27% on different high interest debt. So if you have any high interest debt, anything for me above like 5 or 6%, I would use the 10,000 to pay that off first, because you're guaranteeing a return on your money. If you pay off $10,000 worth of debt at 10%, you're guaranteeing to get like a 10% return on that money, or at least not lose 10%. Just pay off debt before you move into the fun stuff coming up. Invest in skills. Now this one and actually the last one are what I recommend to most people. They're going to make the biggest impact in your financial future. They're going to have the absolute craziest ROI, because how much you make depends on the value of the skills that you kind of bring to the table, you bring to the world. For instance, when I used to do stamp concrete, if I worked as a day laborer, I would make about $300 a day, which is actually not horrible, but it was pretty rough work. But as a skilled laborer, a concrete finisher, I could earn like $700 a day. And then if you actually own the business, you earn way more. But the idea here is that when I gained the skills, I was able to double how much money I was making, because I just had knowledge and skills that other people don't have. And the same goes with every field. The difference between earning 30,000 and 60,000 or 60,000 and 120,000 is literally just knowledge. And that's where the sponsor of this video, Careerist, actually comes in and can be a huge help. If you're someone who's looking for remote work, you're looking to get into the tech industry, maybe you don't have a degree, you didn't go to school, and you don't really think you have a lot of skills, but you want to earn a decent amount of money, Careerist can be a great place to go. They offer online live courses, and Careerist grads have already worked at over 1,000 companies, and they're actually so confident that their programs work that they have a 100% money back guarantee if you don't land a job in tech inside a year. They offer live classes, internships, one-on-one coaching. So thanks to Careerist for sponsoring this video, and there's a link with 10% off down in the description. Check them out if you're looking to get into the tech field. It's a really good program. Retirement accounts. Tax advantage retirement accounts like a Roth IRA can be life-changing money once you reach retirement. However, the downside to them is if you're chasing financial independence and early retirement, you got kind of the FIRE thing going on, which I talk about a lot on this channel. It's what I do personally. And since I'm trying to reach financial independence in my 30s in the next couple of years here, I don't really want all my investments tied up till I'm 59 and a half. However, these are incredible tools that if you start early will absolutely make you an insane amount of tax-free wealth while you're in retirement. It can be a great nest egg. So many Americans have nothing saved for retirement. So if you don't want to die on the Walmart floor, investing in a Roth, or especially if your company has a 401k match, anything like that can be a great use of money. However, it's not going to be as fast as some of the ways that we're going to be talking about in a second. Index funds. Index funds are kind of one of the most common investments, especially for people in the FIRE movement. It is low cost index funds like the S&P 500 or VTI, or signing up for Webull and getting 12 free stocks when you open and fund an account, link down below. But pretty much the idea here is that you're going into something that has very low costs as opposed to actively managed funds, which are going to have a lot higher costs because somebody actually has to do that. So you're tracking the overall market. And again, this is going to be a little bit of a longer term pull. Sometimes you're going to earn 20% in a year. Sometimes you're going to earn nothing in a year or lose money. So this is definitely a longer play. But if you're in it for the next 5, 10, 30 years, index fund investing can be a great way. It's not going to be tax advantaged like a Roth or other retirement accounts. But if you're looking to get that money out when you're 40 as opposed to 60, then this is probably going to be the way to do it. Small businesses. This is where we get into some real money making. This one and the last one. So a small business is one of the best investments that you can make. If you have $10,000 and you want to turn that into $100,000, this is one of the best ways to do it, because starting a business, starting a side hustle is where you can make real money. It's where you can get people working for you. Instead of you going to work to make somebody else rich, there's no cap to how much you can make. You can work as much as you want and you can make as much as you want. You can work as little as you want and you can earn nothing. It's 100% up to you, and generally it's way more profitable. There's a bunch of businesses you can start for under $10,000. You could do a pressure washing business, a cleaning business. Most type of online businesses can be started relatively cheaply. Landscaping, flipping product, making stuff and then selling it on Etsy. So many different things that you can do as a small business. It's a great way to invest some money. I've done a video on some different small businesses ideas that are pretty cheap to start. I'll link that down below if you want to check it out, so we don't get into all that here. But definitely a great way to invest. It's pretty much investing in yourself, where even if the business fails, you will hopefully learn a decent amount of skills that will help you in a future business, which is kind of what happened to me when my first 5 businesses failed. It gave me the skills to have some of the later ones to actually catch on and make me a lot of money. Number 7 and 7.5 are real estate 2 different ways. I bought my first triplex about 5 years ago for $6,500 down. And that's because I got $10,000 back towards closing costs. So that saved me $10K cash and ended up letting me buy the property for under $10,000, even though it would have been like $15,000 to $20,000 because of the way I structured it. However, I would not recommend that. If you only have $10,000, don't spend all of it buying a property, because the furnace could break, tenants could move out, who knows what could go wrong really. So if you only have $10,000, for most places in the US, you're not really going to be able to invest in real estate. You might want to just save up another $10,000 and then you might be able to invest. But for some places it might work, for most places it probably won't. And that's where REITs come in. How a REIT works is you pretty much pool your money with other investors and then you give it to a REIT. A REIT is an organization that buys real estate with high rental incomes, maybe like a mall, office buildings. Hopefully all of those will be profitable, and then REITs are required to pass back 90% of the profits back to investors as dividends. There are publicly listed REITs that you can buy on the stock market. I'll put a couple of them on screen now. Personally, I've bought a few of these in my Webull account, along with the 12 free stocks I got for signing up. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped a little bit. Don't forget to check out Carreras with the link below, and check out Webull if you're looking to get into stocks. Thanks for watching. See you next week.